Okay.
few sentences.
Okay, well, then say we just do a rolling start. I said, Anton, thank you very much for taking the time and being on the show. And today we are going to talk about a very interesting thing that is called Infopathy, which is a special device that uses frequency, pulse electromagnetic fields, and other stuff. But you will learn about this more in the interview. So, first of all, Anton, I would like you to introduce yourself and just give us a little background about you. How did you come to this topic? And yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting for this podcast. I'm really glad to talk and share it with your audience. My name is Anton, and I was initially how I got into all of this. I was a student at MIPT. It's a Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology, and one of my professors suggested me to kind of look at this group of people who were studying water and doing something unusual, with water. And that time I remember there was already those movies about memory of water from Masaru Emoto. So it's kind of coming in my head. It was something interesting, unusual, and I would be interested to spend, a lot of my time and how it's become like a lot of my life to all of this project. Yeah, initially I was doing some research review and working with practitioners, working with scientists, going in different labs and trying to perform experiments. I was trying to find a simple method how you can see that water can change its properties under the influence of signal. And what's special about this project is that we take signal, not just some random generated, but signal recorded from the substance. And there was some pretty exciting experiments, and some of them were not going well. Usually with biological systems, they seems to be more sensitive and they react better rather than some chemical experiments or physical even experiments, because physical equipment at this moment there is some sensitive equipment enough to measure this phenomena, but traditional equipment, it's not that sensitive enough to pick up those changes in the water. But there are some already technologies that can be used to study what happens in the water. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and slowly, I was working with a team of people who were doing all of this. There was ups and downs. We were also organizing the water conference, which was many years initially in USA. Then it was moved to Europe, to Bulgaria. I think it was about 9 or 5 years. And last 2 times it was in Germany. And this year, the water conference also should be in Germany, I think somewhere in October. Mm-hmm. If someone interested, they can go into waterconf.org and check it out. Yeah, usually there is so amazing people coming, and I learned so much from that conference. Yeah, and slowly when I was working with practitioners, I was very interested in the results they're getting, because they were amazing. Because usually people who go into these practitioners, energy practitioners, who use informational technologies for the health and coming holistic approach to the health, it's not super popular to those people because they are not like traditional, let's say. So people would go to them if they already didn't find any help from any other traditional methods. So they would have maybe even some very difficult diseases. They would go to them, and from those practitioners I heard that they're getting better and better. So I was, wow, this is really interesting, and let's take this technology and try to make it more kind of available for people. Because in general, this technology, I mentioned this already many times, it's not like really new. Mm-hmm. It's many years already been used by those practitioners or even research, many different experiments. So we, with our project, was just trying to add the internet and make it more available to the wider audience, mm-hmm. make it more available, and also study and understand it more and improve it to make it even more efficient.
Mm-hmm. And so you
Yeah.
came up with this company, and you called it Infopathy, that develops special devices so you can use frequencies and apply, I would say, apply the information using special devices like the IC glowing pad, for example, to
Hmm.
inform water, so to give it a new formation, and then you could simply drink the solution, I call it, and that has the information in it, and then it would be, just to give people an idea
Hmm.
how it works. It would, you are drinking, I would say, the information. So, but you skip a physical form. Let's say, for example, for people who are not really deep in the materia, you could, for example, take a vitamin C as a capsule, and then the information is in the capsule as a physical substance. You would swallow it, and then
Hmm.
through the digestion tract, it would go into your system. And the same, prove me if I'm wrong, is when I use your device just by drinking the information. So it's kind of a homeopathic remedy. Is this correct?
Yeah, in some way, yes, in the fundamental way. How we see, there is no complete theory or understanding how exactly it works, but there is some theories, and most important, it's more like experimental technology. It means you do something empirical, even technology. You do something, you see what works better, A or B, and then okay, B works better, so let's continue with B. Then again, you have some question, you try different options, and you learn in this way. From theoretical point of view, there is some approaches that can explain how water interacts with electromagnetic signal. So if it has specific spectrum, the signal, then water may form those so-called coherent domains, and water will mimic signal. So you apply some signal to water, it will mimic your original signal. And if you took the signal from substance, it means your water will mimic those signals later. And when you drink the water, those coherent domains in the water will interact with your cell receptors. And there's also, going a little bit back, if you take a regular substance, there's theory that it will interact as a key lock principle. So it's like a chemical way. So your substance shape should match to the shape of the receptor. And then in this way, you will have reaction or interaction. So something will happen in your body. If there is no match, nothing will happen with those receptors. So you kind of substitute that substance with electronic substance. You know, you have your regular key to open your door in the house, but you don't use a regular key, you use electronic key, which emits, doesn't matter what shape it has, it just emits the same signal. And there was some experiments and also theories showing that in the body we have those receptors which can interact based on the spectrum of the substance, not its shape, but the spectrum. So if we have water which mimics the signal of the substance, then we can kind of substitute the substance with just signal and have similar or some effect. Yeah, just as a theoretical way it goes.
So you, in a theoretical way, you're drinking the transmission. So you're drinking the signal that either enables or disables, let's say, on a intracellular level, if something gets into the cell or outside of the cell, for example. So just like the remote control of your garage, for example. So just to give people a more metaphorical way of thinking how this works. Okay, so and then you have built or constructed special devices like your glowing IC pad. And I'm not sure if you can see this. It's a special device. You can connect with smartphone, for example, or a laptop computer. We have a USB and B and cinch cable. And then you can go to your website, infopathy.com, and then you can select special so-called Infoceuticals. And then can you describe in a nutshell how this works? So how it is you already explained it in a theoretical way, but just in a practical way with, let's say, with the glowing IC pad.
Yeah, so first, on the Infopathy website, it's you can consider it as a database of different signals. Most of them are recorded from substances or some combinations of substances, minerals, oils, just allopathic pharmaceutical medicines. And we have all the signal there. You can search for what you like. So we don't have like everything yet, but we're slowly building those signals. So once you select it, you need to connect your IC pad to the audio output of your smartphone or computer, and then you can start the transfer. So the signal will be going into the IC pad and will be emitted by the IC pad. IC pad by itself doesn't store any signals, so you're not transferring, not storing it on the IC pad. IC pad works as an emitter. So you supply the signal, whatever you selected on the website, and it will be emitting that signal. And if you put the water on top, it will be the water will be affected by the signal. There's also other signals on the Infopathy called PMF, for example, pulsed electromagnetic fields, and they have different primary application methods, the best application methods, because that's how it's designed and developed and researched, that you should apply the signals directly to body. Some people also apply them, transfer them to the water, but so far the best way to apply PMF ICs through directly to the body. And on the website you will see there's different categories: imprint signal, those ones recorded from substances; PMFs, those ones they are usually generated based on different theories and algorithms, and they should be applied to the body. Also, we have audible signals. For those ones, you actually do not need any device, do not need any transfer device. You can just use your smartphone and plug some regular headphones and listen them with the headphones, or even speakers you can use.
Yeah. So the question is, for the pulse electromagnetic field, does it play a role where you store it on the body? So because in the description it says, okay, if in the description it says, let's say it's something for knee health, so you would put it locally on the knee, or otherwise you just put it on your the chest, so the thorax. So does it play, does it really matter where to place it on the body, or is it when you place it on your chest, it's a systemic effect that will be created?
Yeah, we recommend, if in description developer provided of that IC provided where you need to place it, better to place in that local area. If IC is for some general thing, maybe like a stress or something, then yes, you would put it just on the chest or also on the stomach. So you can select chest or stomach. This is two general places where you can apply. But if in description you have specific place, better to place it there.
Okay. So, and now the question is, let's talk a little bit more about the imprint. Is so when I imprint, let's say for example, my water with vitamin C. So is there a recommendation how often you should take it? Because it doesn't give you a specific number. For example, when you buy a vitamin C as powder or capsule, it says, okay, it has amount XYZ in the capsule, let's say 150 milligrams. So how does it work when I go, let's say, and search for imprint vitamin C? I get a vitamin C, and how do I know how much vitamin C I get, or how often I should take it? And you get the idea here.
Yeah. So it's about dosage. At the moment, we don't know how the dosage would be calculated and whether it's at all applied to all this approach. What we know is, if you drink water more often, and we recommend to drinking water at least 3 times a day, and at least 50 milliliters, that is 2 ounces at once. So if you select one IC, you need to drink it at least 3 times, at least 50 milliliters each time. And also, if you feel you can increase the dose, because some people is very sensitive and it all depends on what IC and what case, etc. You will see on the platform that when you transfer, you can select number of transfers. So regular transfer time for one IC, Imprint IC, is 2 minutes with a glow and IC pad. With IC Hammer, that's another device, 4 minutes, and with a smaller device, it's 12 minutes. So if you transfer with a glow and IC pad and you would like to increase effect, then you can select more transfer time. Yeah, we had person who increase. You can also select infinite transfer time, so it will be just continue repeating the transfer over and over until you stop it. And there were some people who were transferring for a few hours to the same bottle of water, and they felt it's even like very like big effect. Yeah, so we still kind of gathering information and seeing how this transfer time affects. Of course, it also depends on what type of water you use, how you then store that water, etc., etc. But with time, we're slowly building the recommendations, what we get as a feedback, what is the most effective approach, and from number of drinking, it's 3 times. Then you can also increase number of repeats. So I personally put with a glow and pad 3-4 repeats for the same IC or IC complex, and use it later.
So, and this would ultimately lead to my next question is, so do you have info about how long the, let's say, imprint stays? So when you say, okay, at least 15 milliliters, I could, let's say, okay, I inform a whole liter of, let's say, stick to the example of vitamin C. And do you have some anecdotal info that you say, okay, this is stored, let's say, an hour, 10 minutes, or 10 hours, or whatsoever?
Yeah, it depends on the water and its mineral content. So I'll just mention for the distilled water as well, because I know some people like use it. So if you use, for some reason, distilled water, then distilled water is not very good for storage, because the effect disappears pretty quickly in about a few hours, 1 or 2 hours. There will be no imprint left, and therefore, if you use distilled water, you have to drink it right away. You imprint it and then drink right away. If you use regular mineral water, then it can stay theoretically for weeks, but because of all the environmental factors, different temperatures, different pressure and electromagnetic fields from maybe different devices, we suggest to use it up to 3 days. So if you prepare, let's say, like bottle of water, you can then also, so you can then drink half after you prepare it. You drink half, then you add new water here, you shake it again, then you again drink half, and you keep repeating. You can keep repeating the same action for the 3 days, and after 3 days you imprint it again with the transfer device. And another option, even to make it longer, so to increase more minerals, so you can take a small tincture like this. On the website, if you go to the help section and check method 2, there will be like exact recipe, how much of the mineral salt, Himalayan sea salt, or some other salt you can use, but it should have a good amount of minerals inside. There's exact recipe how much salt, how much water you use. So you prepare a saline solution and then you imprint it, and it will last for 30 days. It also can last theoretically for many months, but we suggest to use it up to 30 days. And also you can, after you imprint small tincture, it's very convenient. You can also wrap it with aluminum foil all around to protect it from the electromagnetic field from around.
Okay, so this would mean that you it would need a current. So when you say it works better with a mineral solution with electrolytes, which the word describes electrolyte, which means something is soluted in with electrolytes. You have a solution of electrolytes in water, because water alone, you mentioned distilled water, is just a semiconductor. So, and does it play a role? Would it increase? Maybe you know that if you would also change the pH level of the water. Let's say you have a higher alkaline water, and I combine this with the next question also because it's intertwined. So, would it be and would it enhance the, let's say, storage capability or the efficiency if the water has a higher pH level, and or if it is I would say a restructured water, let's say considering Schauberger's work, where you say you have a hexagonal water cluster. So
so there is another theory how actually signals stored. So one of them was coherent domain, another is about this easy water, hexagonal water, and from their research, they also, like, they're theoretical that because water, when the water is liquid, and in general it's something liquid and so dynamic, it's hard to store any structures inside. So they're saying about this easy water, and it's already proven like 100% that in each surface, if you have, for example, a glass bottle, around on the surface there is a thin layer of the hexagonal water, easy water or gel water or force phase water, as I also call it. And because it's kind of semi-solid, semi-liquid, it can have some structures and therefore can store some information. And how to increase that easy water, there is a few techniques. One of them is shaking. That's why we also suggest shaking the water right before the imprinting. Second of them, it's magnetic field, and also that's why we have in the glow NSC pad and in other devices we have a magnet inside to do that effect. And there's also other things, but one of them, different minerals increase their easy water content. And also one of them, also I was asked actually Gerald Pollack about whether pH played a role, and he said yes. They did some study, and the higher pH, so the more alkaline water, will have the bigger this layer of the easy water. So therefore, or at least theoretically, so far we cannot like confirm from point of view like of users. You need more people doing it, etc. But from theoretical point of view, yes, the more alkaline water, I don't know where it goes. It's not necessarily the super alkaline water like 10 will give you the best effect. Maybe there's a peak will be at, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something. I don't know yet. But at least having some minerals in water and having it alkaline should affect the storage time, increase the storage time.
So, according to Pollack's work, and the easy water is, which is for all of those viewers who don't know what easy is, it's called exclusion zone. And would it be beneficial to add some red light? Because Pollack says that easy water, the layer gets bigger if it's driven by infrared light with a specific nanometer range, of course. But would you agree with that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like his fact already, that infrared light increases the easy layer. Therefore, I think it will be beneficial. And I saw some people doing that. The imprinting, they can do it both ways. First, they can illuminate it with red infrared light and then place it on the pad, or do it even at the same time to place additional infrared light to the glow NSC pad.
Okay, so and then my question is, as this imprint or PEMF is an information which brings us in a new formation, the question arises, whether this is, can you, I mean, overdose, or does it work more like an adaptogen? So let's say if you have, when we stick to this example of the vitamin C, I mean, could I overuse imprinted vitamin C, or is it more like an adaptogen from your experience?
Yeah, so if you use, for example, the same IC lots of times, like many times a day, like I don't know, every 5 minutes, for example, you drink 50 milliliters of water, I don't think you will overdose, and at least we don't have that kind of, and people don't usually do that because it's hard to do. Even if they do it like somehow often, like every hour, we still didn't have any negative feedback about that. And also, like how I see it, again, like it's as it's information, you would just probably will not have effect will be stopping at some point. So as we say, like 3 times a day, we don't know yet what is the maximum most efficient time, but I think maybe if you drink it like 10 times a day, it like have still good effect. But if you drink it 50 times a day, it will be the same effect as a 5 or as a 10 times a day. So there is like some kind of curve or like comment on the plateau. And the same thing about the amount of water. If you drink like half a glass of water or 1 glass of water, it's not like you're drinking double dose. It's pretty much will be the same amount of information impact. There should be some minimum number amount of water, 34% 50 milliliters. And after some amount of water, you'll just go on the plateau as well. Because there's like this like example. Usually when I like write answer for someone, like in email, I can like demonstrate it better. If I put like little words saying hello, really small, like 2 pixel size, it's really hard to see. And for example, you cannot see it. So this will not be information for you because it's really small, but it's kind of still there, but it's really small. But intensity size is not enough for you to see. Therefore, it will not affect you. Then I will increase the size, make it 10. So now you can see it. Now it's information for you. Then I will increase size to 20, increase intensity, increase amount of that thing, but information stays the same. It's like 1 + 1 equals 1. So it's the same, and you keep increasing it, and nothing will do. I mean, like if you increase it somehow like gigantically, you have like 1,000 screens flashing at you with that signal, then it will be maybe too hot. Then it will be it's more like energetical effect will be already, not informational.
Okay, I get the idea. So you must be in the right distance to process this information you're getting to an optimal level and not to a maximum. So more does not mean better. So
Okay. So pretty much, I mean, we're building still also knowledge. At the moment, we have information about this 3 times. You can use it for the good effect. And you can use it a little bit more, at least 3 times. But you don't need to go like crazy and just drink it every 5 minutes.
Okay, so there's no potential danger of overloading with information. So this leads to my next question is, how many imprints, let's say, you can do together? Because you just mentioned efficiency versus effectiveness. And let's say some, for those who don't know already, for our viewers and listeners, is you can go to the website and there are also complexes. So this means there's not just the solution, let's say vitamin C or zinc or whatsoever, but you can also imprint complexes. But this leads us to the question is, can I theoretically combine, let's say, okay, I want to have the best bang for my buck, so I combine 50 infos in one imprint and imprint it. So will this work, or is the where you say, okay, let's say up to a specific number?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's also continuation of the previous topic about overdose. So in some way, you can be overdosed, but not more like overdose, but more like overwhelmed. And that's also how this project was getting at the new level when we were thinking if body do not get a negative effect from using some specific IC from pharmaceuticals, and the project was starting from only pharmaceutical ICs. We think, so why we just not combine them all so people don't need to even choose, body will choose itself what it needs, what it doesn't need. And we combined 50 different ICs at the time, like everything we had, and like it was practitioners were testing with their patients, and they reported some of them had effect, some of them didn't have effect. So we were thinking maybe it depends on the person, energetical state. Some people body maybe has more energy, more health, they can process so much information, but other ones cannot. So after some time also testing, practitioners set the recommendation to include in one complex up to 6 ICs. Like at least when you start using all of this, you try and on the Infopathy there is some people create really huge complexes, like also hundreds or like 50 things, and it works for them. But when you just start, we recommend to put up to 6. If it's good for you, you can add more things inside of the complex. And a little bit more about complex. So yeah, you can transfer one signal to your water bottle, like vitamin C you said. So you'll have only one IC. But when you're transferring complex, all of the signals are transferred at the same time. So it's almost like 6 different songs playing at the same time, and they're emitted to the water. Yeah. So because like if you put too many of them, body can just overwhelmed and have no effect at all. Therefore, just need to start from less.
But it's not the case that the integrated frequencies will erase each other. So it's just maybe it will happen, or so you won't have a negative effect. It's just maybe nothing will happen because you're in a state that it does not yet maybe work for you. But it's not that, let's say, frequency A interferes with frequency L or Z or so.
Yeah, because the experience that when we mix 50 of them, some people still had effect. So therefore, we think that water frequencies will not interact, and water will kind of get this information, so it's capable to doing that. But it's more about the body at the body level.
Okay, so and then if we proceed with this super interesting stuff, is one question for me, from a personal question for me is, does an imprint interfere with a material substance? So for example, you take always that you say, okay, take good water, so let's keep this this out of the equation, and we say for the examples we always have optimal water. But then let's say I would add something like glutamine in a material form into the water, and then I place the glutamine on the IC pad, and let's stick to the example, and then I choose vitamin C in an imprint. The water that already contains the soluted glutamine, will there be, or would there be some interference if I have already something in the water?
So if you have water with a substance and you imprint it with something different, I mean, some people do, for example, they imprint not only water but juices or some other drinks with like different ICs, and the report it still works for them. So I think, I'm not sure like what exactly will be happening at the level, the molecular level and quantum level there, but it seems that imprint will be still happening. If and from another point of view, if you would like to combine, for example, substance plus the signal of the same substance, we had research when the mice were treated in this way. One group was treated with just substance, another was with just water, another was with signal, and another one was signal plus substance. So they were kind of injected substance, and they were also taken orally the water. And we found out that it seems it works in some different ways, the substance and the signal, because effect almost doubled when you applied substance plus signal compared to just substance or just signal. So it was kind of conclusion that maybe there's different ways of how things approach the body and paths, how they affect. So they're not actually like interact those two effects, but they kind of pull in your body from different sides. Therefore, we even suggest if you, I mean, it's not like even suggestions, that's what we say. If you use some medicines, you shouldn't replace them with ICs, but you can start use it additionally. And if after some time you see that maybe after blood analysis or after your practitioner say, you can try to increase or you can try to decrease the kind of amount of medications you use. So like kind of slowly substitute, but under the professional supervision.
Of course, so this is no health claims we're giving here in this. This is just for information purpose only. So, okay, and then, okay, I have some weird questions because I was thinking when in addition to the question I ask if I have a substance in the glass already, and would it interfere if there's a spoon in the glass? So let's say I have a metal spoon and I'm stirring the glass and because I thought, okay, I stirred it and then I pulled the spoon out. But would there be an interference, a problem if you have, or maybe when you say it's cool with glass, or but not with metal, or?
Yeah, I mean, spoon, I think may have an effect, of course, because it shields and the electromagnetic field. So, I mean, if you just stir it at the beginning and then you removed it, then it should be okay. But yeah, just keep it always there. Better not to do that. You can use other type of spoon, like wooden or plastic. Yeah.
And then this leads to the next question: is what would be the ideal vessel for storing the water before imprinting it? So glass, yes, no. Plastic, yes, no. Would plastic, if it's a bad plastic or a bad glass, because they still contain information as well. So would they imprint as well when you select an imprint with, let's say, bad plastic with phthalates or something like that?
Yeah, actually, the materials, the plastic glass, while you're doing printing, they can also, like hard materials. There's also research about that. They can also kind of be imprinted and they carry that thing. I'm not sure for how long they can remain that state, but in general, if you would like to, like, informationally sanitize your material, your vessel, then you can heat it up. Just kind of wash it with very hot water, and it should be okay then.
But so glass would be, in general, as a rule of thumb, your recommendation?
For the glass, I think it's better. It's also because of this easy approach, extrusion zone water approach. It also matters what kind of surface you have. The more hydrophilic surface you have, and glass is more hydrophilic than plastic, you will have bigger, easy layer in that particular material. So glass is better. And also, if you wash bottle with hot water, if it's plastic, there's maybe little pieces of plastic will be going, kind of chips or something, like little pieces. Micro things will be going. Will be loose, and then you maybe will drink it next time.
Okay, and then the next question about the glasses, I'm wondering, is if you want to, let's say, imprint large amounts of water, let's say 1 or 2 liters, because you're going to the gym or whatsoever, or on the road, is it possible to, when you use, if you use, let's say, alkaline water, ionized water, alkalized water, it has to be stored in a dark glass. But would it be because if it is if it was alkalized by an using electric device, so would an imprint still be possible in a, let's say, dark glass, or would you say, okay, you gotta imprint it in a yeah, look through glass and then change it into the yeah, the dark one?
Yeah, if you use dark glass, not transparent, then you can just increase number of imprints.
Yeah.
If you use glowing ice because we use their light also to like accelerate the imprinting. But if you cover the light because bottle is not transparent, then you just need to increase the number of transfer at least like double. If you had 2 minutes, make it 4 minutes by increasing number of repeats when you transfer. Yeah, and then it should be okay. Yeah, also what people do, they sometimes just imprint in the regular glass bottle, and then to store it, they pour it in the metallic container, like stainless steel container. So also to prevent it and isolate it from the electromagnetic field, because small one you can cover with aluminum foil, but big one is a little bit difficult to cover with aluminum foil. So you can just pour it in the like a thermos even, also to keep the temperature.
But you would say, so in an optimal world or in a perfect world, you would inform it or imprint it and drink it right away afterwards. So because this would be the most convenient.
I guess it would be the best, but still you can hold it for 3 days. So also should be okay.
So okay, and then I have the question I wrote down. So how about, I mean, just to give people the right idea, we're talking about water as info storage, but of course you can, as we are imprinting information, it's not about the water. So you can also imprint something that is not water soluble, like an information like vitamin D, for example. And then this leads to my question, whether you have experience with detoxification processes using imprints, because there the opinions go left and right, where some people say if you want, okay, depends on what you want to detoxify, and let's say it is a toxic metal. So normally the approach is that toxin metals need to be chelated. So you need a chelate that, for those of you who've never heard about a chelate, it's like pinches of a crab. You have the substance and it grabs it around so that it gets water soluble, and you can flush it out through the urinal tract. And so my question is do you have experience with detoxification processes with metals?
So at this moment, I think there's some feedback about detoxification. There was not so much like feedback to kind of review it and summarize, but I saw some person using the word to like a testimonial review about this way. They were using also some kind of bath for the food, where they put the food, and I'm not sure what exactly it does, but kind of apply like some water, electricity to your feet, and then what he observed, usually what you observe, water becomes that little bath for your feet, like really dark, because something that sucks from your body. And he was using some ICs to also detoxification. Also now it's like just general, I don't even remember if it was regarding metals or what, but he noted that the water in that bath for the feet become like much darker. So somehow it helped him to release something not very clean from his body. And also there was other messages from people that it's not like exact answer for the question, but they use the ICs for detoxification, and it was too strong effect, so they also have to lower the number of transfer, it's maybe because they're more sensitive or something, or maybe it's just how their body is. So they had to transfer. They use a regular ice pad, which goes for 12 minutes, one transfer. So they had to reduce the number of repeats for the water, make it less strong, to go just a few minutes. And then because it felt kind of very strong, the detox effect, like too much.
Yeah, makes sense, because detoxification is something you should not mess around with, because it also, it takes a lot of energy to detoxify, and if you cannot get rid of the toxin, it's better to have them stored where they are, for example, in fatty tissue. Okay. So, and maybe this would then be a good idea to combine it with a substance like chlorella or EDTA or whatsoever, and then use a potential effect with the imprint to detoxify let's say, heavy or light metals. Okay.
Yeah,
and
I think you also can prepare your body in advance before doing detoxification, to check your other organs work well, like liver, kidney, have some ICs for support those organs, and then try to do some detoxification.
So a specific question, because you mentioned kidneys, because kidneys is normally a double organ. You have two kidneys. So when I would select the PEMF for kidney restoration, where would I place it? Would I just place it on, let's say, TH12, the vertebra on the back, that is on the height of the kidney, and just on your back, or would it be suitable to place it on your thorax, on the sternum, because it works through? Just to give a specific example.
Yeah, I think if you have some concerns with a specific, like left or right kidney, then you can place it at that location. Or if it's just for general, thing, then you can just put it on the stomach.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be the back, because it will work its way through.
Yeah.
Okay. And so do you have experience, because I got this question concerning the article, with the how long it would take. Of course, I don't expect a specific answer to that, because it would be an individual thing. But as a rule of thumb, do you have some experience, anecdotal experience out of the trenches maybe, how long it would take to notice a change? So let's see, someone measures, well, I, for example, did it with the oligoscan, measured intracellular. Let's say you get an amount X of vitamin C, to stick to the example. How often, you said 3 times a day, but over what kind of period to see an effect?
Yeah, for example, it may depend. If you use those scanning different devices, people also sending us different their scans before and after, and they were like impressed with the results, showing that like even after 1 day they did the scan, or even it was like shorter period of time, just with drink water, wait for half an hour, and they see like big difference in their scan. But I guess like scan just give you more detailed information which you usually cannot feel with just your sensations. But with something acute, we also had reports, like for example with allergy, person take it, and then in up to 1 hour they can feel already the effect. With something like more chronic and like long lasting, it may take like a few weeks, like 2, 3, 4 weeks, to get some effect that you really can feel it. But it's also, yes, individual, just some ideas how much may it take.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. So just another question struck my mind, is that because you say we're living in this super, or would say, electropolluted, overwhelmed, let's say, society and environment. So we are constantly bombarded with Wi-Fi and whatsoever, 5G, 10G, or whatever there might be. So let's just call it frequencies. And from your experience, I mean, if the intoxication is a real problem, at least to my observation with patients, any kind of toxic metal, would it interfere from your experience if the body has a high intoxication of metals, whatsoever kind, that the imprint is lowered in its effectiveness? Because when I think a metal is like, it's kind of antenna, and electrolytes are needed for a current to have a flow, and then you add the imprint, and the body is like a walking water pile. So would you recommend to get rid of metal intoxication because it would lower the effect of the imprint, or would you say it does not play a role?
Yeah, at the moment, just like that would be difficult to say.
Yeah,
I think it would be, I just need some kind of investigation.
Yeah.
Because I assume if you have some toxic metals in you, I don't know what is amounts, how regular, how many of those like atoms you have. Because even if you have a little bit, it's already maybe considered that you have some like toxic metal in your body, even if it's a little bit. But from point of view of physics, if it's just a little bit, and if it's just distributed a little bit somewhere in the body, then I don't think it would interfere, because you also have like other like metals like iron, etc., like in your body, which are not toxic. So I think it maybe probably not interfere.
Okay. Wow, so this was, time flies, and we're almost at the end of the show. This was super interesting conversation, especially on a personal level for me to get these answers answered, and thank you for that, for taking the time, and much appreciated. So Anton, please tell us where can people find you and your brand or your products, and I will add this in the video, so people, and it will also include it in the description of the video.
People can go on the website called Infopathy.com and sign up, register. I just want to mention that we have those audible ICs, which you can just use with headphones, and we have over 1,600 of different ICs and complexes already, and some of them audibles, and most of them available with a premium membership, but also we have those ones available with just after you create account. So if you would like, you can go already and try with using your headphones those audible ICs, which you do not transfer anywhere, but you listen with your headphones. And if you have any questions, we have a big help section where you can also send us a mail or post your question there, or join our community on the Facebook.
So for those who don't know, from today it says they have 314 PMFs, they have 1,233 imprints, and 105 audio information. So this is quite some numbers. And okay, anything we did not cover in this interview, but you said, okay, this is from your point of opinion super important concerning infopathy. Do you want to add?
It's just a general recommendation as we're building. You can also try for the best effect when you drink water, hold it in your mouth for the 10 seconds before you swallow it. Because also people are trying it and noticing maybe there is a mechanism that the water gets sucked into your bloodstream right away through the mouth. So just hold this in your mouth. Also, I learned from some homeopaths that they actually, was interesting. Initially, people were trying this on the Infopathy, and then I learned from some homeopaths saying that that's actually how they tell people to use those little pills with the homeopathic remedies, to hold it in the mouth for 10-15 seconds. And another thing, try to drink the water when your stomach is empty, or relatively empty, because with the empty stomach, water sucks in the intestine much faster, just a few minutes. Whether when your stomach is full, it may take like hours to pass the stomach. So it's
this is super important, and I absolutely agree with that, because plus there's the potential danger of interfering with your HCl, so your stomach acid production. And if you add a lot of water, especially if it's alkaline water, you might raise up your the pH level of your stomach, which will lead in maldigestion and other problems. So okay, so you mentioned you will be at the water conference. So will you have a booth there?
No, this year I'm not sure if I will be going.
Yeah,
it's still like some stuff.
Okay,
but maybe next year.
Okay,
yeah.
But water conference.
I will be joining somehow online. Something.
Okay. Wow, this was super cool, and the hour is almost over. So Anton, big thanks for taking the time, and yeah, this was an absolute pleasure to get to know you, and thank you very much for answering all my weird questions about your very cool technology. Yeah, and
good questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, I wish you an energetic time, and take care, and yeah, hope to meet you in person one day. So
yeah, okay. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Much.